And we are live, 5 minutes to 8. And we are hats off. Remembrance of, I was trying to do this last night. In remembrance of Wile 3D, man who has recently passed away. And who made our lives a little different every day when he streamed. Anyway, what's up, Unraz? You know, I gotta do one thing. I'll be right back. Okay. Had to denoise the hallway. Okay, focus camera. Here we go. So, anyways, missing good old Wile. Made some tops. Yeah, that's an advertisement for the tops. It's way too light. This one's a little better. This one, when it hits stuff where it's these edges, the minute, you know how they slow down and eventually the edge hits, the minute this edge hits, this top goes crazy. Like that. Come on. If I get to stay upright, there we go, sort of. This plywood isn't, as you can see, it's all marked up. This is my like work table / computer bench / everything. So anyway, yeah, kind of missing Wile. Yeah, the big one is better. It's around here somewhere. This one's actually, I think, in all, this one's the best, which is the same pattern as the big one. It's exactly the same thing. It's just smaller. The big one's the exact same thing, just blown up like 400 times or whatever I did. This one's been forever, and you barely even have to start it. The thing about this one is the blue and the red here are like 90% infill. This thing's heavy. Yeah, I think it's the blue and the red. The red band, which you can't really see, which is the Merlot. It's the polyalchemy Merlot. And then this blue one, which is, I don't remember which color it is. They're like, I think it was 80 or 90%. I did just those two bands. So it's real heavy. So this one spins really well. As long as it did, that got in a groove in the plywood. I gotta rebuild this thing. Put a new top on it. Come on. There we go. This one spins forever, even as small as it is. Yeah, I'm working on a video for that, so I did all of these. I keep redoing it because it's just too long. And I've been thinking about doing like a 3-part one on tops, but it's a freaking top. Come on. Who's gonna watch 3 different videos on making tops? I mean, it's a freaking top. I mean, I was going into all the design, you know, and the different patterns and how to do it. This one's really light and it really sucks. It doesn't spin because there's not enough weight and the handle's too tall. And that's part of it too, is learning the physics of it. I don't know. It's a top. Pennies in it? Yeah. I actually used to do fidget spinners. I had a pretty popular fidget spinner back in the fidget spinner craze that I had that I threaded it and you could screw quarter 20 bolts onto it. You use those for the weights for the fidget spinner, and the thing would spin freaking forever. I had like 8 bolts in it. You could actually put more. I do that for the rolling stick thingies too. They actually got bolts in the end caps and stuff. So I got mail today. And I think I know what this is, but I'm not positive. It's small. So it's the only thing I can think of that I ordered that's this small. and stuff. Oh, turn off that sound. So yeah, I got mail, and I know it's 3D printing because it came from China. And the only thing I order from China is 3D printing related. Let's open up the mail. Like I said, I think I know what it is. Oh my God, finally they started wrapping stuff decent. I don't know if you've ordered much stuff from. I don't even know who I got this from. I think it's from Banggood. Oh no, I got this on eBay. I know exactly what this is now. This is some Chinese eBay. Now it says Inwood, New York, but there's a Chinese label under the American labels. So they shipped it to someone in America who turned around and shipped it to me. There's a label under a label. Yeah, it's all in Chinese. YouTube community, Ketchup loves your comment. I don't know what I commented on, and yes, they are what I thought they were. Holy crap. But they're supposed to be two different, you dummies. I wanted two different lengths. So they're heat brakes, or MK8s. Now, I don't know if you do any MK8 heat brakes, but pretty much everything standard now is 26 millimeter for the heat brake. The problem is the Max Micron originally came with 30. Now you can get 30s, but they're not true heat brakes. They don't have the actual heat brake carved in them. Go up here, it might actually focus on it. Here you go. The actual heat brake notch. If you buy normal 30s here in the US anyways. Yeah, I've had stuff. I order a lot of stuff on eBay from Leap 3D. They're actually pretty good for, cheap Chinese crap. But they have local redistributions. So they used to ship to Staten Island, New York, which is right here on Long Island. So whenever I ordered something from them from eBay, they actually have on their address New York, but when you ask them about it, they're like, no, it comes from China. We ship it to New York from China, and then from New York we ship it to you, and that avoids some import fee or something. I don't freaking know. But it usually, when I ordered from Leap 3D on eBay, which is, again, I will gladly boost them. I've ordered a lot of parts from them. Some of that, actually, I think now they heat plates from Folger. What did I get from them? I don't know. I got a few parts from them on that. And a lot of parts from the Max Micron are from them. I always have it within like 7 to 10 days. And it comes from China. I mean, when you order it, you get a Chinese shipping label, tracking number. And it goes to Staten Island. And then you get a regular USPS tracking from there. They're supposed to be 30s and 40s. These are 40s. These are 40 millimeters, supposedly. Because everything for that Max Micron stock, 40.3. Everything stock for that was 30 millimeters. There's supposed to be some 30s and 40s in here, and they got me 10 40s. You douchebags. Oh well. But I also wanted to try some different lengths for the ANAT, because the ANAT is similar to Ender 3, but not exactly the same. And what's up, Michael and Oddball? Saw you guys come in, and yet it didn't register in my brain. Anyway, the way the ANAT works now is it is a 6 millimeter threaded tube all the way up through the cooling head. And you thread your coupler down from the top, and then you set the height with the heat brake in the bottom. But there's a gap between that coupler and the heat break tube. And you just push the PTFE tube and hope it lines up, which it usually does. I mean, it's a 4mm. You only have a millimeter worth of play that it can wiggle. You know, it's only a millimeter, and the minute you start putting the filament in there, and this thing has a taper, and everyone that came with the A-net is tapered. So if it hits it and it's slightly off, it still goes down into the tube. But still, come on, there's a gap between them because it's like a 50 or 60mm cooling fin, and yet the two don't meet. So there's an air gap, and you just slide your PTFE tube, and supposedly it lines up. Which, anyway, so I got these 40s, which is what I wanted the 40s for. The 30s I wanted for the Max Micron. The 40s I wanted for the A-net. I think a 40mm will hit perfectly. If not, the hot end sticks down a little bit. No big deal. I'll just reset the cooling and adjust the end stop. I'd almost rather it stick down. It's a little, I don't know, a little too up close. The actual heat block is literally almost, and is actually in contact with the carriage, which isn't just not right. I mean, I got the heat sock on there, and that's like trapped between the actual motion carriage and the X carriage and the heat block. Not the cooling block. The heater block is almost, that's how close it is, which is just wrong. That carriage is similar to the Crealities. It's not the same. I've modified it, so it's a little better. But anyway, so I'm hoping I can put these in, and I'm hoping I'll actually stick it down 4 or 5mm. I'll redesign the cooling ducts so they hit in the proper space and hopefully lower the heat block. That because it's only like 3 or 4mm that the heat block overlaps the carriage. Well, hopefully it'll lower it that little bit and get that. Again, they're not the heat block sock is actually in contact with the carriage, but the heat block doesn't, if that makes sense. But it's literally like a millimeter away. It's too close. And I thought about spacing the block off, but then I looked at the design, and people don't realize, they're like, oh, that cooling system sucks, and it really doesn't. It actually, that's what the Crealities does. It uses the carriage as a secondary cooling transfer. Where those fins are there, the fan flows over the fins, and then the air hits that. You trap the cooling block right up against that block, and then it travels, it hits and travels out. Well, that block is tight up against the carriage. It's actually using the carriage as cooling assistance, as distribution of heat, which works. I mean, everyone bitched about the Creality and the Enders and all that when they first came out, and yet nobody's had a need to replace that because it works. That hot end system actually works. What's up, Papa Top Young? I don't think I've seen you but once or twice before, have I? How do I know that name? I know I've seen you around. Anyway, welcome. If anyone knows me, they know I normally wear a hat. I'm handicapped. Get it? But I'm going hatless tonight. Remembrance of Wile. Because he was a crazy man. It was absolutely a blast. He could take a joke. Put it that way. And he gave it right back. Wiley could dish it out just as well as he could take it. And he could take it to a point. He did snap after a while, but me and Hawk used to really pick on him. Not so much pick on him, but be annoying during his streams. I gotta figure out how to get Douchebot up and running. I'll have to do a Douchebot in remembrance of Wiley. Problem is all those secondary backup streaming software just dog my computer. They really, really don't work well on this old Mac. This old Mac. Is that like this old house? So anyway, this thing spins for a while for such a little. It is heavy. It has a lot of weight. Well, that polyalchemy is heavy. The one thing I noticed, this red one is probably the lightest one of the three, and I did it at 40. The whole thing is at 40% infill. And I forgot, it's actually done in Protopasta's matte fiber red. See how it's all flat? There's actually they said it's a wheat fiber or something in it. But it's I forgot how light it is. It's a really light filament, and even at 40%, it's lighter than this. It's lighter than this one. This one was done at 10%, and it's way lighter. And this is at 40%. Stupid tops, but they're fun. Anyway, I gotta work on that video hopefully in the next couple days. Got so much crap going on. The home is trying to, well, not trying to. They're getting ready to boot my father out of the home he's in right now. So somehow or another, I have to prep this house to get somebody in a wheelchair in it. Which I can do, but it's easy actually. I just have to get piles and piles and piles of junk out of the house and then make a small apartment in the basement. I have a massive walk-in basement. 2 doors, 2 full doors on either side of it, 8 windows. It's massive. It's full, half the house, the long side of the house. It's all open on the back side. You'll walk right in. You can drive right up to it. It's all, there's nothing down there but the mechanicals and mom's junk. Lots of junk piled to the ceiling. No exaggeration. Tunnels. And I have to get it all out in a week and then put a bathroom in. But once the junk's gone, I could build a full-on apartment down there with no problems. It's full 8-foot ceilings. It's full walk-in. All the mechanicals are there. My mother had a freaking bakery down there. She had a full restaurant in our basement. Everything I need is down there. And it's gutted. Once her stuff's out, there's no structure there. Just one center wall underneath the staircase, and that's it. 2 massive rooms, 30-foot long by 36 feet long. The only thing down there is washer, dryer, hot water tank, cold water tank, and the staircase. A couple of refrigerators that we use, freezer, refrigerator, and a bunch of junk, like boxes and boxes and boxes of junk. Garbage needs to go in the garbage. All of it, go away. And they're fighting me out. Oh, we don't have to get rid of all that. It's like, where am I going to put them? Oh, we'll put them in the living room. How am I going to get upstairs? Build a ramp. Okay, so I'm going to spend $5,000 building a ramp to the front door because the front door is like 6 feet off the ground. 4 feet. And ADA is what now? I know they just changed it. It used to be a maximum of 1 inch a foot, and now I think it's a 1/2 inch a foot. So I'd have to build this massively long ramp going out and coming back. There's no way I could do it on one length at 4 feet. It would have to be a zigzaggy with a platform, So you're talking $5-6 grand, and that's me building it. If I buy one, it's closer to 10. Not me. Oh no, I'm a disposer. If I look around this room and if I have something in here that I have not used in a year, it goes in the garbage. I do that every spring, every fall. All right, get rid of crap like that. My mother's like, oh, you're throwing out stuff you might want again. It's like, I might, but I haven't used it in a year, so it's very unlikely. No, my mother buys stuff like she's a hoarder, big time. Like, should be on the TV show. I wish I did. If I had the time, I'd call him to come in here. I'd call that stupid TV show and have him come gutter. Get rid of it all. Because not only is the house full, but I built a 44-foot long garage when I was traveling for work. Because I went to get a house myself. My parents wanted a garage, and I'm like, I was traveling for my company. Every 6 months, I went to a new job site all over the East Coast. So it's like, why buy a house when I'm never going to be in it? I mean, I usually, Virginia, New York, Long Island, Massachusetts. I was supposed to go to Florida. I was supposed to go to Virginia just before I quit. What else? They had me at another job that I went to twice. Where was I? I don't remember where the hell I was. I think it was in South Carolina a couple times too. Anyway, so I said, screw it. I'll build mom and dad a garage. I'll build a massive garage instead of buying a house, and I'll put an apartment above it. So I built a massive garage, 44-foot long, 4-bay monstrosity. It's bigger than the house. I had to pull all kinds of permits and strings and get all kinds of variances. And it took me 6 months of paperwork to get it in because it's bigger than the house, a lot bigger than the house. Yeah, Wiley passed away on Sunday. Was it Sunday? Saturday night, Sunday morning. He just wasn't feeling good. We were all talking to him Friday and Saturday. I actually talked to him Saturday morning, online in a chat. He was posting. He was like, "Hey, I'm not feeling so great." Next thing I know, everyone's posting, "Oh, he died." It's like, what? It's like talking to him like 12 hours ago. I still don't know exactly what happened. I mean, did he have a stroke? Did he have a heart attack? Did he just keel over and die? Well, nobody, I still haven't heard what happened, but it is what it is. It doesn't really matter what happened. It happened. Yeah, no, I mean, Wiley was always fun. He was a little rough around the edges for sure, but that's what made him fun. He was a nice guy. He was rough around the edges, but he was a nice guy. He'd do anything for anybody. I used to send him film it. I don't know if you guys remember. A couple of times I said, you pay for the shipping, and if I had spare filament I hadn't used, like I said, I'd get rid of stuff. I have a couple of rolls that if I pull them out and I haven't used them in 6 months or something, and it was a color I was like, be like, here, you want these? You pay for the shipping, they're yours. Yeah, he was an interesting person. Let's put it that. He was a good guy. So there's that. Yeah, I'm probably not going to stream very long tonight because I have absolutely nothing going on. I've been running around like a madman. My knee is absolutely throbbing right now. And I drank all my tea, didn't I? Oh no, I got some right here. There's still a swallow. I'm gonna have me a dosage of Tylenol. What's up, Tanner? Aren't you working? Aren't you singing for $1? Or is tonight one of your nights off? Dude, perfect. You want to jump in and we can play games with Idea Maker? I think I could set you up with Idea Maker and have it work smashingly. Totally up to you. I don't know what days you have off. I can barely tell what day it is. Totally up to you. Oh, right. I saw the post that you got that. Well, here, jump in here and are you doing it right now? In that post in there? Maybe. How come it didn't? Oh, I did the wrong thing. That's why, dummy. I was sharing my screen. Jump in here and film doing the palette. I'm not going to stay long. Updating the firmware on the printer or the palette itself. What's up, Rover? I'm getting fat again. I need to lose weight. By the way, you can all buy my t-shirt. Isn't it awesome? Ow. Just pain. Maybe I'm having a stroke or heart attack. Ah, that hurt. What's up, Tanner, man?
Just plugging in the pallet too right now. Well, I don't have a microphone. Hold on.
You're plenty loud enough. You're actually pretty loud.
Oh, I guess it grabbed the mic on my my webcam.
Yeah, probably. It sounds like a webcam mic, so it's got that tinny sound to it.
Yeah, I've got my good mic unplugged right now because I've got the pallet plugged in where that goes.
That's fine. It's good enough. It's working, at least for me it is. I don't know what's going over the... I mean, it's a little tinny, but it's not terrible. I can understand you. It's not like... You're supposed to take your hat off, man.
Oh, I got horrible hat hair. I've had this on all day.
It's a hat off stream. Who cares? It's a hat off stream. Nobody cares about your hair. Dude, look at my hair. Look. I'm Glenn. Wait a minute. I'm Glenn. Here. I'm Glenn. It's receding rapidly right here. I used to have full head of hair.
Not that rapidly, or it'd already be gone. Okay.
I am old. People don't realize just how old I am. I'm pretty freaking old.
A friend of mine had a bald spot back here. Senior year of high school, you could see his.
Yeah. Oh, I had a dude that we were in high school, and it's funny. When I met him in high school, because our town is like 3 towns put together in high school. We all had our own grade schools, and in junior high, 2 of the towns meeted, and then high school, all 3 went together. So there's people in town that I kind of knew because they're in town, but you didn't until high school. Anyways, I really met this dude in high school and started hanging out with him. You know, started hanging out in the same crew of people. And when he started high school, he was dark brown hair. And by the time we graduated, he was pure white. He looked like freaking 90 years old. In 4 years, he went complete, and I don't mean gray, I mean bleach white. We all had bleach in his hair. What's up, John?
Joey, knock it off.
Enough. Bark, bark.
One of my aunts was gray-headed by the time she was 13.
Yeah. It's funny. My father's in a home right now because he had a blood poisoning and all kinds of nasty crap. But anyways, we have a friend that's a hairdresser, so she went to the home and cut his hair because he was getting scraggly. I mean, he was kind of looking like Wiley, and he's usually more clean cut than I am. And she was cutting his hair. He's 83. He's got like 3 gray hairs in his head, and he's 83. His hair is like brown. He doesn't have much of it left, but it's all brown.
What he has is brown.
Yeah, and it literally, like, he has, like, his mustache is all gray, and it's salt and pepper. You know what I mean? And his beard kind of salt and pepper, but his hair all brown.
I'm praying my computer doesn't die right now because, you know, it's in the middle of a firmware update. I don't want to brick the palette.
So are you updating the palette itself or the printer for the palette? Because you have to do the firmware for the printer too, don't you?
The printer, nothing changes on the printer.
Oh, I thought
The
oh
pallet does all the
no,
work.
you're doing the pallet. I was thinking the MMU.
Yeah, the pallet does all the work. You only have to. But when the first thing happens when you plug in the pallet is it tells you to update the firmware now. It won't let you do anything else. Just update the firmware.
Yeah, everyone was talking about that, but that's normal. It doesn't even have firmware. They don't install it, I don't think. They make you update it immediately because when they first released it, from what I understand, they were literally updating it daily. Because once you go, like anything, I don't care what anyone says, everyone bitches. When you beta test something in a controlled group, for one, that controlled group is usually more technical than the average customer. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
they automatically fix stuff and it's like my brother. He's a computer
it
scientist.
just
They
threw an
just
error.
do it, they just do it naturally. They don't even think about it. They think everyone should know this stuff. And then you get it out into the open market and, the thing crashes like crazy and everyone's bitching because, they're not technically inclined as technically inclined or as familiar with the
Yeah,
product. And,
it just
that other thing.
updating the firmware just threw an error, and now the pallet has this garbled looking screen.
How did you get a pellet? Did you buy it or did they give it to you?
And the rep chopper and the rep ranger, and I got one more vehicle to make for him for rep cord. I traded for store credit.
Oh, you do. I got you.
So he commissioned me to make these models to
He got you the
showcase
pellet.
his filament, and
That's
yeah,
cool. No,
and
that's
he gave
good.
me store credit for the commission work,
Yeah.
and I used the store credit to get the pallet.
Yeah, and that's actually good for both of you because he gets a discount on the pellet. I know he does.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So that's cool. You both get
It
what you
actually got
want.
shipped directly from Mosaic, though.
No, those things are cool, dude. I like that helicopter a lot. I think I'm gonna have to print that. Have you released those files already?
What's that?
Have you released all those files already?
Patrons have access to,
Well, I'm not a patron because I got no money to give you.
but nobody else yet.
I'm begging for money. See, buy my T-shirt.
And then people who order a battle pack from Repcord can get one of the models as well.
Yeah, I can't afford a battle. You'll have to just sneak me a copy of the helicopter. That's all I want. It's the helicopter.
Well, I may have to go, and I may have to unplug the webcam too, because I think it's giving me a COM port error.
Yeah, you may be just overjuicing. What did you end up getting for a computer? Did you ever get a really nice one?
No, it's still using this old one that I'm praying doesn't die.
Well, I thought like right around now you were supposed to get a tax return and go buy a really nice computer.
Well, I was going to build. I decided to build one, and then I found out that the third gen AMD chips are coming out July 7th.
Yeah, but that means you want the second gen.
Well, I think I want the second gen, but when the third gen come out, the second gen will get cheaper.
Yeah, because the one thing I've learned in technology, I bought an iPhone 5 when the 8s came out.
Yeah, but
this works.
I want the
problems.
I think I want to do the second gen, but the second gen stuff should come down and save me $200 or $300.
Halves in price when it usually actually starts dropping right when they announce it.
They've come down a little, but they haven't come down a lot. And
you're gonna do AMD, not Intel.
Yeah, and mainly because the benchmarks for Blender are better.
Yeah, they're cheaper. You do know with an AMD they run a boatload hotter. You need a much more massive cooler for an AMD than you do an Intel.
Well, the AMD processors come with cooler.
Yeah,
I buy the processor that rates.
I've been hearing they need to be boosted. I mean, I'm not big on the PCs anymore. I used to build them all the time, but
yeah, I'm going to have to go, Tom, because it's giving me a COM port error, and I'm thinking maybe it's since it's looking at USB ports that it may be trying to put the firmware on my camera instead of the.
Well, get a Mac and you won't have that problem.
Yeah, I can't afford a Mac.
I was gonna say you won't be able to do anything with it because it probably wouldn't even do any of that right now. So Mac OS is better. Mac hardware is garbage right now. Although the new one coming out is supposed to be pretty good, but I have a feeling
the new one coming out is $6,000.
That's cheap.
I didn't pay $6,000 for my SUV sitting in the driveway.
I actually bought a $5,000 Mac years ago. I was doing, it was an audio Mac.
Yeah.
And I was actually helping a guy. I wasn't doing the audio work. I was doing video work, but he built an audio studio in his basement. I helped him build it, and he wanted me to do all his animations for him for his record label that he was trying to produce and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I bought a $5,000 Mac. He actually paid for half of it. I bought one of them aluminum big monsters that the new one kind of replicates, but looks uglier. That new one is freaking butt ugly.
The new one looks like a cheese grater.
The old one did too. The old original unibody, multi-interchanger. I'm glad they went to the changing body. If you look at it, if you look at the inside of that thing, it's exactly the same as the old 2000, 2003 massive aluminum cased one. Not that stupid little garbage can. That big, massive aluminum. I wish I still had that body because I would love to build a PC or something and put it in that body. It had all the air channels lined up, and it just cooled beautifully, and it was quiet, and it was just big. That thing was huge. I don't know if you ever seen one of those.
Most studios in Nashville are using still.
Freaking huge. Yeah, well, they're upgradable. It was the last truly upgradable Mac you could ever buy. You can still upgrade the crap out of those things.
Well, the studios in Nashville, part of the reason they do them is that they put the hot swappable hard drive kits in them so they can.
Yeah, pop them in and out. Yeah. No, it's still one of the best Macs you could buy.
Yeah.
They still sell. You can buy one of those things used. They're still like $2,000 to buy one used. They're ridiculous. Mine was a G5. I got them before they even went Intel. They only did like 2 years of that with the Intel chip.
Yeah.
Mine had the old G5 chip in it. Anyway, buy yourself a new computer. You need it. You deserve it.
Well, I'm going to. Well, I'm going to build one. Because then I can, because I've already got a good enough power supply and video card to get started. So,
you want to really screw around? Do you have a body you're going to use?
No, I don't have any cases.
Because what I do have, I think I still have it. I might have tossed it. I have an old Mac G4. The blue and silver body. Yeah. That would be cool, and that has a pan in it, so you can screw a regular PC body inside of it. That makes sense. Motherboard. Yeah. So then you could have a PC Mac, but all the ports were interchangeable. That was the first one, the Quicksilver they called it. That was the first one that had all the PCI slots and all that lined up, just like a regular everyday PC. And that had like 10 slots. And from what I understand, people are doing it all the time because the bolt pattern matches one of the popular motherboards that's supposed to be really good. So a lot of people are using that body because it's cool and it looks nice, and they can freak people out because they think they're working on a Mac and it's a PC. And I think I still have that. It actually still works. There's nothing wrong with it other than you push the button and you go make breakfast and scramble some eggs and have some coffee and you come back and it might be started.
Right.
And that was fast when it was new. Anyways, the thing's not going to update on you, huh?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to, as long as I have anything else plugged into a USB port. So
bolt off and do it and come back.
Yep.
Although I'll probably be gone. I'm not going to do this very long.
Well, if you're still around when I get it working, I'll come back.
All right, later. Somebody else wants to pop in, go right ahead. What are you up to, Johnny? You can always jump in. Come jump in. So I'm not sitting here yakking to myself like a weirdo. Because I am a weirdo. Oh, the catchy's in 30 minutes, huh? Oh, crap, I have to be gone in a half an hour. I just got a notification that it starts in half an hour. Community catch-up. I'm sure you all know what the community catch-up is, right? I just got a message from them that they did something, or they liked something, or... Oh, yeah, I missed the last one because I was playing hospital games with my father. Email. More emails. You know what I did order, and I'm not sure I'm glad I did it or not. I don't know if I should say anything, but I'm sure you all know who TH3D is, the company. They just came out with their magnet sheet for flex bases. And I've always wanted the magnet sheet. And I've actually tried to get one from Wham Bam. And it was like 2/3 the price of getting the whole system. I was like, no. And the Wham Bam is just out of my price. And again, I like the Wham Bam. It's a bunch of guys that don't like mustard. Who, what? TH3D? I don't get it. What's mustard got to do with it? Oh, the community kitchen. I get it now. Anyway, TH3D is I'm sure you guys all know who they are. I only hear about them on occasion, but they're a reseller of 3D printing parts. And they have a decent store. And the guy seems like a decent guy. But he's got some of his responses on social media have turned me off. And I don't think he's a bad guy. From what I've seen and talked to, and I've talked to him indirectly, like, we're both posting on the same post on Twitter and that kind of thing. And I do follow him on Twitter, but I don't really pay attention. But he does have the magnet sheets. And some of his shenanigans, we'll say, on Twitter has turned me off a little bit. But again, I don't think he's a bad guy. So I ordered the magnet sheets. I actually got one for this, and I got one for the Max Micron. Because I'm hoping, especially on the Max Micron, and I may actually put the sheet on the ANET, because I'm hoping those magnet sheets are a good bit lighter than the actual magnets. The only problem with the actual magnets on the swinging bed, like I have them now, where I glue tape onto the magnet and then I tape the magnet up to the bed, there's a lot of weight swinging back and forth. Now, I used to have glass, and I weighed it out, and it came out to a little less than the glass, but we're literally talking like 5 or 10 grams. That was the only difference in weight. Once I put all the magnets on there to hold my flex sheet down, the weight was almost as much as glass, and I kind of wanted to get rid of the glass because of the weight. I was seeing, ghosting waving on the Y direction because of the weight of the glass. If I went anything over like 35, 40 millimeters a second, I'd get wicked ghosting in it. So I was hoping to get rid of that when I went to the flex sheet, and it got rid of some. I can actually, depending on what I do, if I use the blue tape, I have the magnet stacked. So I can take the bottom one off because it's just a magnet stuck to a magnet. It does make it more strength. But anyway, I ordered the 2 sheets. I shouldn't have. I really don't have the money. I really can't afford it at the moment. But I haven't done anything for myself in a real long time, so I did it. It was like $30, I think, for the 2 of them after shipping and everything, which is cheap. Because the one for this, I was just talking to Wham Bam, I think. Oh God, way back when they were still doing their what do you call it? Give me money to make the product thing. Yeah. Why am I having a brain fart on that? Anyway, when they first started, I contacted them and said, "Can I just get the magnet sheet? I have my own flex sheets. I just want the magnet sheet that you glue down to the bed." And they, I said, "Yeah, we'll sell you one for like," it was ridiculous. It was like $40. I'm like, "Yeah, that's not. Might as well buy the whole Wham Bam system by that," which I got no problem with. I actually, the more I hear about it, the more I really wish I had one. I really like the looks of it. They're well made, but it's just a sheet of magnet. It's a sheet of, spring steel and a sheet of PEX. The PEX does seem nice. I really wish I could get a hold of PEX. PEI works. That one's got PEI. Actually, they both have PEI on them right now. The only one that doesn't have a PEI bed is the A-net, which I can take that one and stick it on it at any time because it's the same size. So all I have to do is put magnets on that, and I can put PDI on it. So I may actually put the magnet that I bought for this onto that, to the A-net, because the A-net's a swinging bed, where that one, the weight really doesn't matter, other than that whole bed carriage is on one motor, which I'm beginning to think is a little heavy for one motor. It shouldn't be, but there's a lot of weight there. There's a double cage, because I originally built this thing to be a 500 square, and I made a 300 bed, so I had to make another aluminum square inside the other aluminum square to hold the whole thing, because blah, blah. Anyway, 20 of, 19 of, I think I'm going to kill it at quarter of, so I can go get a drink and relax for 5 minutes and watch community catch up. So, tops are fun. They're so stupid and they're so easy, and yet they're so cool. There's just something about that thing sitting there just spinning away that's awesome. I like that kind of stuff. I like all the stuff like Angus does with his little perpetual motion-y and motion figures and the rolly sticks and the. That's why I like my rolling stick thingies. Rolling stick thingy. You guys even know what I'm talking about when I say rolling stick thingy? It's been so long since I had one out. Oh, I forgot about this top. It needs a. I don't have a handle for it. I'll have to print a handle for it. I do have a handle for it. What do you know? Yeah, let's try this one out. I haven't played with this one in a while. That one works. Oh, later. See you, Michael. Yeah, I'm gonna kill it in a minute. Anyway. Yeah, I might as well just kill it now. Everyone go get a drink and go watch the catchy. The community catch up with the catchy, because catchy. And I shouldn't be advertising them. You realize I won that stupid zombie sign, 2 months ago? And they still haven't. I just contacted them yesterday and they're like, yeah, we haven't sent it yet. It's here. It's in the box. I'm like, well, come on now. Not that I'm complaining. I got a box to send to Florida. I still haven't done it. I keep filling more into it. Everything I print, I throw in it. That's why I haven't sent it. I'm going to throw a lot of these tops in it, I think. Send it down to her because she'll play with her kids down in Florida with it. She has kids she hangs out with. Whatever. Anyways, I'm going to kill the stream. Later, guys. See you over at the catchy.